Welcome back to War's Hidden Faces. Tonight we explore a story not of bombs and bullets, but of the mind. A story of what happens when the enemy you were taught to fear does the one thing you never expected. They were taught that the enemy was a monster, a devil without a soul. They waited for the inevitable end, the cruelty promised by their leaders. But what happens when that monster finds you, and his act of kindness is more disorienting than any violence? When a simple gesture shatters your entire world. If these real documented stories of human complexity resonate with you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Your support is what allows these forgotten accounts to be told. Now, find a quiet space, and let's begin. The air is damp, and it smells of cordite, iron, and sickness. It is the smell of a cave that has become a tomb. For 16-year-old Chiyo, this darkness is her entire world. Her knees are drawn to her chest, the rough fabric of her school uniform soaked through with cave water and mud. She is one of a dozen girls, all from the Okinawa First Girls High School. They are not soldiers. They are students. Weeks ago, they were practicing calligraphy and learning about poetry. Now they are huddled together in the blackness, listening to the Tetsu no Ame, the typhoon of steel. The world outside has been erased by an unending naval bombardment. The cave shakes, dust and small pebbles rain down from the ceiling. One of the younger girls, somewhere to her left, lets out a quiet, high-pitched sob. It is cut short by a sharp shh from an older classmate. Silence is survival. But the enemy is not just the bombs. The true enemy, the one they have been warned about their entire lives, is the Oni-Chiku, the American devils. Their teachers, their fathers, the imperial soldiers, they all told them the same horrible stories. The instructors at the school had been graphic. The American monsters, the officer said, his voice flat, do not take prisoners, not women. They are beasts. They will find you. They will drag you out by your hair. They will do things to you, things that will make you beg for the death they will eventually grant you, but only after they have destroyed your soul. He looked at them, a line of teenage girls in their neat uniforms. Capture is not an option. It is a fate worse than 1,000 deaths. It is the ultimate shame. This is the wall of fear. It is thicker than the limestone of the cave. It is more real than the hunger gnawing at her stomach. Chiyo's hand tightens around the cold, metal object in her lap. It is a Type 99 hand grenade. A soldier, his own face gaunt and streaked with blood, had pushed it into her hands 2 days ago as his unit retreated past their position. A gift from the Emperor, he had whispered, not meeting his eyes. For your honor. It is a promise that the Oni-Chiku will not take her alive. One by one, the other girls in the darkness clutch their own gifts. This is their final, terrible lesson. Chiyo's fear is a cold, sharp thing. It is not the fear of the explosions outside. That is just noise. It is the primal, visceral terror of him, the monster that is coming. She pictures a huge, hairy beast with horns and a face twisted in rage, just like the posters. She prays for the cave to collapse. She prays for a direct hit from a shell, a clean death, a good death, anything but capture. Then, a new sound cuts through the distant rumble, a sound that makes her heart stop. It is the crunch of boots on loose rock. It is close. A scraping sound. One of the girls gasps. Her fingers tremble. Her thumb finds the pin of the grenade. A beam of light cuts into the darkness, blindingly bright. It sweeps across their faces. Faces streaked with grime, eyes wide with a terror so profound it has gone past screaming. The light stops, resting on Chiyo. A silhouette stands in the mouth of the cave. It is massive. It wears a strange helmet. It is the monster. A voice, deep and rough, echoes in the small space. Something in English. The girls begin to wail, a chorus of pure animal panic. "Honor!" one girl screams, her voice cracking. Chiyo closes her eyes. She pulls at the pin.
No! The word is sharp, an explosive bark. No! Stop! Chiyo flinches, her thumb frozen on the grenade's pin. The Marine does not fire. He does not charge. He does the one thing her mind cannot process. He slowly, deliberately, lowers his rifle and lets it clatter to the rocky floor. The sound is shocking. He raises his hands, palms open and empty. His flashlight beam is still on them. In its bright, merciless glare, he sees them for what they are. Not soldiers, not a threat. He sees a huddle of terrified children in tattered school uniforms. He sees faces still holding their youthful softness beneath the grime, streaked with tears and dirt. He sees Chiyo, barely 16, her knuckles bone white as she clutches the grenade. Internal reflection. Disbelief. Chiyo's mind is a void. It cannot compute. The monster, the Oni, is supposed to kill her. He is supposed to be a beast. He is not supposed to disarm himself. The propaganda posters flash in her mind. A leering demonic face with fangs, grabbing a Japanese woman. The instructors' voices echo. They will show no mercy. This man standing in the cave entrance shows no mercy, but he also shows no aggression. He just stands there, his hands open. "Easy, easy," he says, his voice low and calm. It is the voice someone uses for a frightened animal, not a hated enemy. The other girls are paralyzed, their wailing replaced by a dead, breathless silence. The Marine makes a slow, careful motion toward his belt. The girls gasp in unison. Chiyo's finger tenses on the grenade again. But he doesn't pull a pistol. He unclips his canteen. Historical detail. The shocking act. The sound of the metal cap squeaking as he unscrews it is impossibly loud in the small space. He crouches, placing the canteen on the ground. He gives it a gentle push. It scrapes across the gritty floor, stopping a few feet in front of Chiyo. Water, clear and dark, sloshes inside. He points to his own mouth and then to the canteen. "Water," he says. The word is foreign, but the gesture is universal. Chiyo stares at it. It must be a trick. Propaganda detail. They will give you poisoned water. They will give you poisoned food. It is a trick to make you weak, to make you talk before the real torture begins. But her throat feels like it is coated in dust and ash. She cannot remember the last time she drank. The man sees her hesitation. He sees her eyes flicker between the canteen and the grenade. He reaches slowly into a large pocket on his leg. This time, Chiyo does not flinch. She just watches, dazed. He pulls out a small, rectangular bar wrapped in dark brown paper. He places it on the ground and slides it, gently, to rest beside the canteen. A D-Ration. Chocolate. Internal reflection. Confusion. This is the moment the wall breaks. Not with a crash, but with a silent, agonizing fissure. Water and chocolate. The devil is offering them water and chocolate. He is not roaring. He is not attacking. He has given up his weapon, and he is offering them
gifts. The grenade in her hand suddenly feels cold and stupid. It is an answer to a question no one is asking. The Marine points to himself. "Marine," he says. Then he points to his face. "Mike. Me. Mike." He looks at them, his own face young, exhausted, and etched with a sadness she does not understand. "You're safe," he says, testing the words. Safe. Chiyo looks at the grenade. She looks at the chocolate. She looks at the face of the monster. Her world, built on a foundation of pure, certain hate, begins to tilt. Her fingers, which had been locked in a death grip, begin to tremble. She cannot pull the pen. She does not know why, but she cannot. The silence in the cave is absolute. It is broken only by the sound of a girl's ragged, shallow breathing. Chiyo's gaze is locked on the Marine. He does not move. He does not rush them. He simply waits. He has given them a choice: death or chocolate. It is an insane, impossible, and humiliating choice. Her schoolmaster's face swims in her memory. "They will toy with you," he had spat, his voice full of venom. "They are masters of deception. They will offer you sweets, like a spider to a fly, to lure you into their web of depravity. Do not be fooled by their false kindness. It is a lie. Behind the smile is a devil." Chiyo looks at the devil's face. It is not smiling. It is covered in sweat and grime. And his eyes, they are not filled with hate or lust. They are just tired. He looks almost as sad as she feels. A small, thin girl next to Chiyo, one of the youngest, whimpers. "I'm thirsty," she whispers in Japanese. "I'm so thirsty." That simple, human word breaks the spell. This is not about honor. It is not about the emperor. It is about a group of thirsty, terrified girls in a dark hole. Chiyo looks down at the Type 99 grenade in her hand. This gift is a lie. The soldier who gave it to her, he wasn't protecting her honor. He was condemning her to a pointless, ugly death, fueled by a fear that was not even real. Her fingers, slowly, one by one, uncurl from the cold metal. She opens her hand. The grenade rolls from her lap and lands on the cave floor with a soft, dull thud. It is the loudest sound she has ever heard. The Marine lets out a long, slow breath. He visibly sags with relief. He doesn't cheer. He doesn't reach for his gun. He just nods, once. A small human gesture. He stays low and pushes the canteen a little closer with one finger. "It's okay," he says again, his voice soft. "Mizu, water." The small, thirsty girl scrambles forward on her hands and knees. The other girls gasp, but no one stops her. She grabs the canteen, her hands shaking so violently she can barely lift it. She brings it to her lips and drinks. She drinks with a desperate, sobbing thirst, the water spilling down her chin and onto the front of her ruined school uniform. The other girls just watch. She does not die. She is not poisoned. She is saved. This is the moment of collapse. It is not a physical surrender. It is a psychological one. Chiyo watches the girl drink the American's water. The entire framework of her world, the absolute, ironclad certainty of the Oni-Chiku dissolves into mist. It is gone. And in its place, a new terrifying feeling rises. It is not gratitude. It is not relief. It is a profound, bottomless shame. Chiyo stares at her own empty hands. Hands that just moments before were ready to murder this man. And not just him. She was ready to murder herself and all of her friends. For a lie. This man, this monster, had not only saved her from his own people, he had just saved her from herself. He had saved her from her own honor. The Marine looks at them, his eyes moving from face to face. He sees their expressions change. The animal terror is gone. What replaces it is a blank, stunned, speechless shock. They were schoolgirls, taught to die for a god, but they were just saved by a man who offered them chocolate. The paradox is too large. The chasm between the lie and the truth is too wide to cross. The propaganda has failed. And the young Japanese schoolgirls who were found hiding were left utterly, profoundly speechless.
What is more powerful? A hand grenade forged from iron and hate, or a single bar of chocolate? What is a more effective weapon? A propaganda poster that promises a fate worse than death, or a canteen of water offered by an exhausted enemy? This story, as dreamlike as it feels, is not fiction. It is a narrative drawn from the real, documented accounts of the Battle of Okinawa. It is based on the experiences of the Himeyuri Student Corps, high school girls who were ordered to the front lines. The propaganda they were fed was relentless. They were told unequivocally that the Americans were devils who would commit unspeakable atrocities before killing them. For this reason, when cornered in caves, many chose suicide, using the grenades given to them by imperial soldiers. But some survived. The survivors, in their memoirs and testimonies, speak of this, the profound, world-shattering shock of capture. They speak of their disbelief when the monsters did not hurt them, but instead offered them water, or rations, or a kind word. This story is a testament to their experience, the moment when a small, impossible act of kindness became a more powerful force than an entire indoctrination of hate. The Himeyuri Peace Museum in Okinawa stands today, preserving their exact testimonies. May their true story be remembered.